So I'm gonna wet her down. Yeah, let's do a lob. Like a long bob, but with a shag. Cool? A slob. She's such a slob. Just kidding. Just kidding. We don't need any more like names, right? So funny. Some people are all for like all the haircut names, and then some people are so annoyed. So I'm going to enter in here right at the center. And I'm just going to move my blade up and down, up and down. And the way that I'm moving it is with just my fingers like this. Keeping a really good tension. Hi, hello. Really good tension with my left hand. And if you're left-handed, with your right hand. And dropping it down right in the center. And I'm working towards the right. And then letting it go. Gathering it again. And then I'll work towards the left. And I'm just using just the little toe of my blade. And just getting kind of a blunt line going. And the reason I want the blunt line is just really only for this first section. So obviously it's not actually blunt, right? This is kind of this is the texture that we're looking at. It's got that little bit of like edge to it. It's got like a little serrated, kind of razored edge to it. But then when you kind of comb it round, you can see that it is like nice and full and thick, right? And that we didn't dig in and we didn't like take any weight out or anything like that. Cool. So we're moving right along. I'm going to take another section, just a horizontal section. You know what? I'm switching it up. Let's actually make this an A-line shag. So it's an A-lined lob shag. So I want my sectioning. It always helps when you're sectioning mirrors. I'm literally making up what haircut we're going to do like on the fly with you guys, just taking your guys' advice. But so if you can tell, let me tilt her down for you. I'm going to do a diagonal forward because it always helps if your section and your comb and your blade all kind of mirror each other, okay? So if my section is at a diagonal forward here, then my comb goes in at that same diagonal, right? Coming down so that you can really follow exactly your cutting line. Adding that tension. So now I can see underneath my guide, and I can also see my fingers at the cutting angle that I want, so that this blade, all it has to do is focus on how open its stroke is. That up and down action that gives you a softer, more broken line. But when you have so much control with your left hand, that's what's really going to help you like send it home, right? Because I even use my pinky finger, I've noticed, as an anchor. So whatever I can anchor it on, whether it's your client's shoulder or whatever it is, and you don't want to correct those little like beautiful things that you just put in there. You want to actually leave those. But I anchor in with my pinky to keep myself like in check, right? And I just want to make sure that it's sitting like something cute that that feels nice. And I actually am getting a little bit longer than my previous section, okay? So going in with my fingers, I hold my comb kind of away from my section, making sure that my fingers are parallel to my parting and to my cutting line. It's kind of hard for me to stand out of the way to show you guys, but I would normally stand right behind her. Just so that you're always looking at, creating something that has balance. So I literally like put her here, check, and then this is how I would check for balance. I left that a little longer because I actually couldn't see what I was doing. I was kind of doing it blindly. But, and then you can just run your fingers through both sides here, bring it down. And even with your eyes closed, sometimes you can like even feel that balance more. than if you could when you're actually looking at it. You can tell like if there's anything that you need to nick off. And it's not super simple to just nick a little bit off with your razor as it is with the scissors. So if there was like an area where you were like, oh, this needs nicked off or something, you could just pinch with your fingers just to get in a little tighter and just like correct or clean up that line a little bit more just with like the tips of your fingers. Cool? All right, let's take the next section. So we're just gonna drop, let's see. Oh yeah, she doesn't have a lot of hair at all. And again, like I said, I'm not looking at the sectioning up here and how far apart that is. I'm actually looking at how much hair is down here, right? And how thick is it for me to be able to like glide my blade through. So thanks for showing up on is today Tuesday? Tuesday. If I get a cough attack, it's because I was sick. And I've like had this lingering cough that just randomly like gets me. So if I have a random cough attack, sorry. But it's better than cutting hair at the salon and infecting a bunch of people. I'm even like losing my voice a little bit. I always kind of sound a little raspy, huh? But yeah, just this random Tuesday live. I mean, I just would hate for you guys to miss out on that, the $15 a month deal. We wanted to make it like a few cups of coffee worth of like, you know, money. Because listen, like it's all relative, right? Like that could, $15 could be a big sacrifice for somebody, right? When we're on a budget, it's not always easy. And right now, everything is crazy expensive. And I just want to give the opportunity to members and non-members to jump on it, get that deal while you can, and still get your education on, right? That's the whole point. Whole point of online. Cool. All right, we're getting somewhere. Let's see if you guys, cool. Please shout out if you have any questions. I will like look back and answer them. But I feel like a lot of you are probably in your break room, maybe even with the sound off, chilling, watching a haircut. At least if it's me, that's what I would be doing. Cool. So just finishing that out. Now I'm not going to really give myself a guide. Well, maybe I lied. Like I said, we're making this haircut up as we go, which is, you know, when a client shows you a picture and they're like, hey, I want a lob, but I want it to be a shag. You make it up as you go. You're like, got you. I got you. I know how to do a lob. I know how to take these diagonal forward sections, give you something that feels a little bit more blunt or at least a little heavier, right, down at the bottom. So that's why I don't want to like go in and really shag out all of this in the back. I want it to have that little bit of weight. But we're going to go in and really shag out the front and then some like kind of surface layers that will give us the volume like a shag, but not take away from the heaviness down here of the lob. That's what creative haircuts all are, right? It's just like taking different haircuts, mashing them together, and kind of like using different sectioning patterns and putting those different shapes on those different sectioning patterns, and voila, you've got yourself a new haircut, right? Schlob, I don't know. So funny. It's shaggy lob, everybody. So I am going to give myself, I lied, I'm going to angle and add lots of tension with my left hand, and I'm going to give myself a guide. Because we are doing this like A-line situation, I want to make sure that I kind of have something to kind of look at and reference when I'm shagging the front of it. So it's going to be cool because it's not going to look like, can I talk to your manager haircut? Bangs are coming back, aren't they? Bangs are definitely back and have been back and haven't really left in a long while, actually. So bangs are for sure here to stay. We're going to do a bang on her. I'm just keeping her nice and moist. Her hair is just drying up really quick. But to get the blade to slide through, you want to make sure that you've got a sharp blade, a new blade. damp hair, lots of tension on the section, and just being very intentional about that cutting angle and where we want it to end. The reason this is not going to be a let me talk to your manager haircut is because it is kind of like a longer version. So these will almost be like little wispies in the shag, right? So she'll just have like some thickness in the back and like some wispies in the front. And it's not going to be like like this kind of an A-line bob, right? Come visit us soon. And Cosmoprof, you guys are great. And you're Belinda. Are you left-handed? I'm right-handed. This is a front-facing video. So I'm guessing that it looks like I'm left-handed in this video. But it's like the mirror image, right? Oh yeah, because you can't even see. This says Royals. And it's got like different haircuts on it, you know, around it. But it's like the Ramones shirt. It's like a knockoff of the... Look them up. They're so good. I love the Ramones. If you don't know the Ramones, they're so epic. And so like punk rock. But yeah, look up the Ramones. We did this little like cool bootleg t-shirt for just like as long as the sale's going on, because you can get the monthly subscription for $15. So you can learn all these trending haircuts, lots of like basics. The color theory one, like so many of them are so valuable. Hi there. Yeah, so many are just like if I was in beauty school and I had, and even like now, like it's like just to have like access the way that we do these days, we're so fortunate. Like it's insane. I'm using my Mizutani shears. I've got a bunch of different ones that I like. So I don't marry myself. I've got my, I've got my fancy scissors. These are my Mizutanis, which are like, allow me to get in really nice and tight because they're a little bit like shorter. And then I've got my arc, which are like longer and I use a lot for dry cutting, but see how they're like really precision and lean. So I'm going in, I took a small triangular section and I'm over directing it into the middle. And since we're doing a shag, she's getting that like classic shaggy bang. Now my scissors, I'm gonna use this like back part of the shear. So the access point. And I'm gonna go in right above her nose and I'm gonna open and close and rock my scissors out and finding like where there's like a little bit of slip. Opening and closing, opening and closing. If it pulls too much, I just back off and wait for it to kind of just like glide through a little bit. So I'm not in a rush, cutting like up at a 45-degree angle, right? So that's all that beautiful hair that just came off of that center little part. This has become one of my favorite like ways to cut this section. It has been for a long time, but it's because it instantly has that short to long, not only from the center out, but from the underneath. So because you're cutting, because you're over directing it to the center, it's going short to long this way, right? But then I'm coming in from the underneath and almost adding like a layer underneath that section. So it's going from short to long this way. So then when you part it off, you see those little like short bits, kind of like baby bits right here, really soft, really feminine, like really airy. It's not like a chunk of bang, right? And it feels like it just automatically wants to go into that little like curtain vibe, right? Here, let me tilt her head back so you can even kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. There you go. See that? So it just automatically is like already styling itself. It's like, yes, I'll do whatever you say. And then I can go in with my razor, right? And in the Renegade Royals classes, I totally switch from razor to scissor, razor to scissor, razor to scissor. And I explain all about why and how and all of it, because I really believe in using all of the tools that are available to you and making sure that you're like taking full advantage of like, you know, the era that we live in where it's like celebrated to use all of the tools available to you, right? Because each one of them is going to create a different softness, a different effect in the hair. She's got crazy hair. She's a little bit, I don't know, she's an old doll head. She's been sitting in the garage. Cool. So coming in, open, close, open, close. Now I'm cutting this section longer than my previous section because I want this to be soft and just lay just over top of that last section, right? And then each section that I cut, it's going to get like a wider, more airy, more open stroke and have like a little bit more softness, more softness, more softness. So I'm bringing this all the way up. So another diagonal back. And now my stroke's gonna get nice and wide. You see that? Let me do it this way so you can really see. Nice and wide. And at this last kind of point, I'm gonna come from behind and just knock that off because it's gonna just separate the bangs from the rest of the hair and give me some space right here and really like kind of separate her bangs out as like a vocal point, right? Cool. What's up, what's up? Hey, in France. How you doing? Some really exciting things are coming for you guys. I think it's safe to start talking about it. Someone stop me now if it's not safe to talk about. But like we are definitely like gearing things up to just add so much value to what we're offering online, and language barriers are going to be a thing of the past. It's going to be amazing. So I'm really excited for you guys to kind of be able to jump in this week if you're able. And if not, you know what? It'll be up for $29 again on Monday. It's only up for $15 just this week, just limited time. But like I said, $29 is still a great value for what you're getting. But I'm just kind of want to encourage you guys, everyone, to sign up while you can because time is ticking. I hope you guys have amazing plans for this this holiday week. I hope you're going to eat lots of food and be with lots of family and have lots of friends and fun and memories. I'm making this a thick bang section. I'm going for it. Hey guys, I see all of you. What's up, what's up? So I'm bringing it forward. And now this is almost like where I'm going to start the layer because it's like that bang section that could fall forward, but most likely falls to the side. Kind of breaking that up for her because it's a little thick. So I went in and did a little bit of channel cutting right where I felt that thickness. Cool. And same on this side. I'm going to just section her like way back to where, you know, there's always that part where you're like, well, maybe this could go forward, but also if I cut it too short and I part it forward and then it falls to the side, she's going to have a chunk of hair hanging out, which is not cool. So I'm making sure that when I over direct this forward and kind of connect it to her bangs, I'm cutting it really open and airy and a lot longer than her bang section, right? Because I'm kind of just like making it almost like that first layer. Coming from behind. She's got two different things going on these sides of her head. This side has less hair than the other side. So I'm going to add a little sliver more just to see if we can get at least visual balance. So sometimes it's not always about like the parting being perfectly symmetrical. If you can create visual balance, right? So you have to actually change your partings. You have to change your approach to get something to look balanced and to look, you know, the way you want it to look. Cool. So I'm just going to kind of twist this around a little bit. Give it a little bit of like a something to dry. Like I always like to kind of style the bangs while they're drying so that it doesn't get all crazy and just look nuts at the end. And it gives your client something visually to like look at while they're drying and they don't feel like, oh my gosh, what have I done? You know, it's a big mistake when you don't start training the bangs like straight away. Like you have to train them the minute they're cut and while they're still wet. Because if they dry and they dry crazy and they have like a bang sticking straight out when they leave the salon, it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. And it's like most of the time, like we're talking them into bangs, right? Or like if somebody's like excited about bangs, but they're like scared, you kind of have to like hold their hand a little bit, you know? You got to ease them into this situation, right? Cool. All right, so now I'm just taking a diagonal back section here. And remember, we already cut the lengths, but because this is a shag lob, if you will, I'm not going to worry so much about the lengths. I'm going to worry about them a little bit more than I would a regular shag. But I still want to get these fun bits and these like flare and these pieces. So I'm cutting from the front to the back and then from the back to the front. So I'm still getting rid of some of this, so which is why it's really important to make sure that your lengths are longer than what you want them to end up, because you're going to cut that hair off, right? Cool. And so this one, same thing. Front to back, back to front. Cool. How y'all doing? Doing good? Awesome. So she's got this fun little flare now happening in the side. I'll just do really quickly the same on the opposite side at a different angle so you guys can see. I tilted her head back so you could see, but I feel like it's messing with me a little. There we go. Okay, diagonal back. Bringing that hair forward. Kind of ignoring this hair in front. Going shorter than that hair in front. Making sure that my blade is like gliding on the hair. It's like barely pushing, barely touching the hair. There's no like drag, drag, drag feeling. It's soft and gentle until the hair just lets go. Cool. So this next section, going up higher than my last section, going in and then just like establishing those lengths a little longer. So these are just gonna kind of be those like shaggy bits from the underneath. Cool. She's getting somewhere. How you guys doing? You're still with me? Doing good. Everybody looks good. Okay, diagonal back again. Right there. Now I'm gonna bring this section, you know, it's a lob, right? It's that A-line lob. So I'm gonna bring this section forward to preserve the lengths and the ends here, okay? And I'm gonna use this little piece as my guide. So by bringing it forward, it's gonna create a much shorter, rounder shape in these layers, while visually helping me see exactly what I'm working towards, right? So I can get this like beautiful face frame right there without losing that really pretty A-line. Cool? So we're gonna do another diagonal back. Bringing it forward. It's kind of like, she really doesn't have that much hair. So I can take these bigger sections, which is nice. Okay? Bringing this all the way forward. All of the hair. Even incorporating the bangs. Because with the shag, I want it to kind of connect to the bangs. Because the bangs, it's like, go for it. Go for it with the layers, right? And so I get to a certain point, and then I just drop the hair. If it's like, if you don't ever hold more hair than you can handle, I'm actually slowly sliding this hand away as I'm working towards the ends. I'm not compromising on the amount of tension though. So you can see I have good tension all the way until that last little piece. Really good tension. Cool. So I'm gonna bring everything that reaches, I'm gonna bring it all forward. All of that. Because what it's gonna do is it's automatically gonna give me a little bit of a layering through the top, even though we haven't gotten there yet. Cool? So bringing everything forward. It's kind of making me hungry for Neapolitan ice cream. She's got this like vanilla, strawberry, chocolate color happening, and it's making me hungry. What cut am I doing? I'm doing basically like a lob mixed with a shag. So I'm maintaining all of this like A-line. It's like an A-line shag, basically. So I'm maintaining this corner here, and it's cut kind of like short to long here, maintaining this front corner, bringing everything forward. I already cut like the shaggy bang and the shaggy kind of petals and bits in the front. And now I'm taking diagonal sections. So let's give you a new angle to look at. I think she does need to be up like this so you guys can see better. Can you see that better? Cool. So bringing this forward, I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So combing it kind of like, almost as if you're like incorporating its natural fall. I'm not going straight on top. I'm kind of letting it go down and around just a little bit, but incorporating it with the bangs, not cutting the bangs, looking at them, using them as a visual guide, and softly making it a little bit longer than the bangs. Cool. Bring this down, kind of looking at visually where I want that little like point, that long point to be, that I want to make sure and just like hang on to. And then we're going to go through and we're going to add layers to the back and to the top. And I'm going to show you how to add layers without cutting too much into, you know, the thickness of the hair, because we want to maintain this kind of A-line look, right? So we're going to talk about like these concave layers and kind of like what makes them so magical and awesome for clients. It's getting a little dry. How's it going? But yeah, guys, so I just want to reiterate, I go so crazy in depth on so many different classes that are, I always started releasing them right as trends are coming out, right as the tides are changing, as clients are requesting specific looks. I've tried to be, and just always keeping the site crazy current, but mixed alongside with some of these like really important basics that we need to know, right? Like we need to know, like we just came out with Razor 101 on how to hold your blade, how to change your blade, how to, you know, all of the things, right? How to create like graduation and layering and a one line and all of that with your razor, right? And your shears. So we've got those basics all on there. We've got color theory 101, just talking about what the hair shaft is made of and how to formulate for it and how to use chemistry, right? So look, she's looking cute and shaggy already. And that's just the face frame, but how important is bangs and a face frame for a shag, right? It's so important, right? Can you see her? Here she is. So we've gotten this far, really cute. And it's cool that we were kind of doing a cut that's like, you could easily just use this right away, because I feel like a lot of people actually do want this thickness. Like she has thin hair, like really, like her hair is pretty dang thin. So it's pretty good kind of example of what you would give a client if they're like, I want the shag, but I don't want these like thin tendrils, which can still look awesome. But if, you know, some clients get nervous about that, like having this hair be so non-existent, right? And if their hair is so thin already, maybe they want it blunted up and feel a little thicker, if you can see that. See that line? It's like a soft line, but it's like a little bit more blunt and a little bit thicker, and it's got that A-line vibe to it, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go in, and I know, you guys, name the cut, I don't know, A-line shag, schlob. I feel like people have talked about the schlob before. Okay, I'm gonna go in with my shears now for these, well, what do we wanna do? Her hair is just so like thin and kind of that it almost needs a little bit of like substantial like thickening happening to it. Like it feels very bendy and pulley. She doesn't have great elasticity, so we can switch to the shears. Why not? So I'm going to take this little center section, and we're going to look at the shape, right? And you can see what hair is really like adding to the thickness of the overall look, and what hair you can kind of like, oh, if we got rid of just this, it'd be okay, right? So I'm taking that into consideration, and then I'm using over direction and elevation to help me maintain thickness down here and to help me get a little bit of like this like lift in the crown and this little bit of a bump. So I'm going to over direct straight up, because when I go straight up and I tilt my fingertips down, I could just cut this, right? And if I cut it, it'll give you a very strong shape. But because we're using so much of the razor, I'm going to go in underneath my fingers and go from short to long, short to long. And where the long hits is where my lengths are. Where the short hits is just going to add, see, this is like almost adding this little extra bump right there in the crown. But then where I close my shears at the end, that's where like the cutting line ends up being, okay? But it's cool because on that last little short to long, you kind of add this cool little, like, teeny little pop of something that's a lot shorter, right? Just right here to give it a bit of that shag vibe. It's so cute. I can already see. I'm just going to put it a little bit. But you can totally, there we go. You just want to get that, like, sometimes water is the best styling tool to just get its elasticity and bounce back. And you just kind of re-wet a little bit, and you can see where all of those layers kind of gradually go down and start to bring out a little bit of the curl pattern. But look how thick her hair is. Cool, right? So now we're going to just over direct everything to that center section. And if, you know what, guys? Because you're going from short to long this way with your shape, you could take this whole side, over direct it to the center, and knock it out. Because it's all about, it's not about taking super small sections. It's about taking the section that is correct with how much over direction you want to implement, to get the correct shape that you want, right? So it's all about elevation, how high are you holding it, tension, how taut and tight are you holding it, and over direction. Over directing all of that into the center like that. Holding my comb away as far as I can, coming in with the short to long, kind of sliding, gliding motion with my scissors, and then using this last little cutie right here, right? That's my guide. And keeping that over direction, loving it into place, right? Loving it into place. We don't have to be in a rush. We just did everything in one section, right? We just over directed all of that. So why do we have to be in a rush when we're being intentional? What do they say? Comb, 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 cut, right? You're like intentional, you're combing, you're looking at your over direction, you're thinking about it, and then you're cut. And then the whole haircut can go way faster, right? Taking larger sections, but you gotta know what you're doing, right? You gotta know why and what you're doing. Cool, so coming in, cut. And I think I'm gonna show you from this angle so you can get a better view of that. In, closing your shears. So opening and closing, like I said, on Renegade Royals, and then taking this last little baby, that's your guide, and just loving it into place. Open, close till the hair just falls away. But yeah, on Renegade Royals, I go way in depth of like how to use your shears, how to visually see things, how to unlock your own artistry. I'm putting all of my heart and soul into that community, you guys. It's really important to me, especially now with inflation. Trust me, I live in California right now, and it's killing us. It's killing everyone. Like, I don't care how much money you make. It's hard. It's crazy. It's never enough, you know? And so we really wanted to do something like to really give back to you guys this month. Okay, now we're gonna connect it all together. Here's where it all comes together. But we really wanted to give back to you guys this month or this week. So it's only lasting a week. You gotta hurry up and sign up by Monday to get $15 a month, which is like a few cups of coffee. Okay? Invest in your education. It's so important to me that you guys invest in your education. Look how cute that little like asymmetrical like line is in the back. And you can imagine like with her, I always go in and kind of strengthen the ends a little bit sometimes with my shears to just like give it a really strong feathery look. But you can imagine if this like hits her shoulder right here, if she had a shoulder, and it has just this little like flick and really pretty stuff around her face. And then in the back, you can imagine it being like thick and full and just really helping her out. But now we're gonna just quickly connect this to this, okay? So like this kind of front bang piece, right? So you can see exactly what your cutting angle would be when you just hold up what you just created and then where you're heading towards. You can see exactly that cutting angle. And by having it shorter around her face, that's gonna give you those really pretty layers that come in through the top. So I'll just take my section right here in the top, right here in the center, over direct it forward, and there's not gonna be like, look at that, it's already pretty much there. There's almost nothing to cut. We can switch back to the razor actually, it'll look cool. So I can really dig in. But yeah, there's not much to cut because we already pulled everything forward, right? But we pulled it really far forward. Now it's a little bit less of a steep angle. So I'm gonna go inside, short to long, like that. So you're creating texture and then length. Texture and then length. I'm trying to do it slow. It's actually harder to show it slow than it is to go fast. But see the cutting lines there, right? So it's texture and then ending with the length. Texture and then ending with the length. Next section, just horizontal section. And then we're over directing again, everything to the center. And now I'm cutting this section just a little bit, and actually it's gonna be a little easier if I kind of start from this side. There we go, short to long. And I'm letting it be just a little bit longer than my previous section. She needs a little something. There we go. Cool. And then we're gonna go like at a diagonal here to make sure we maintain this thickness and this fullness in her little A-line lengthies. And so it's right about the parietal ridge where we go from the crown into the high recession, over directing it, and just nicking off. It's kind of like that last little corner that just like barely reaches, right? And then when we pull her forward, it's so cool. Like it'll all like just start to connect, and she can wear her hair from the back coming forward, right? She's got, like I said, she was in the garage a long time. So she doesn't have the best like natural texture. But I'll style her up and show you guys. But I typically do like to let people's hair kind of style more or less on their own. Give it like a little bit of like love, you know, like just kind of wrap it around your finger and just let it kind of just like naturally have what it's gonna have and show off its natural curl. So I'll like diffuse it while I'm kind of loving it into shape just to get that like shaggy shape, right? So she's cute, she's shaggy, and now she's got like all these layers that are kind of coming forward, but she has this like cute little tail here, right, in the front that can just lay like really pretty right here. But she still has all her thickness. I didn't cut this side yet, but she still has like layers that go all the way from here down, but she still has that thickness through the bottom to give her that kind of A-line look. We did it. We made up a new cut. A-line shag. So as I'm working through this other side really quickly, it's like 3 sections. I can show you kind of how fast I go in real time when I'm not like going so slow. But yeah, anyway, so guys, that's what's happening this week. Don't miss it, because if you do, it's not going to just come around again. So don't miss it. Sign up online for the monthly membership and you'll automatically get added for $15 a month. If you like my Royals shirt that I'm wearing right now, that's like a bootleg shirt from like the Ramones. Remember the band, the Ramones? It's totally a ripoff in the best way to honor them and love them. But he's got shears in his hand. Look at the eagle. Instead of a baseball bat like their band shirt has, he's got little shears right there. So it's kind of cool because actually it's like a conversation starter for you and your clients. I'm a big fan of talking to your clients about the education you're taking. It's so important, you guys. So important that you're talking to your clients and saying, hey, like, and if they like ask you about your shirt, like, oh, that's the Ramones shirt or whatever, you're like, ah, yeah, but it's for this education platform that I use, that I go on. I can't tell you how many people are straight up asking me, who can we send people to? Who's taking your online education? Like, who knows how to do these haircuts? Like, where do they get the information? You know, and so it's just a really cool conversation starter because you're like, oh yeah, I'm dedicated to my education. I'm dedicated to learning and growing. I'm dedicated to my craft. And this is just like one way to represent and one way to kind of start conversation. Like these silly t-shirts, it's on sale right now too for only $22. So everything's just like accessible and attainable as it can possibly get is what we're doing this week, okay? We've never done anything like this before. I feel so silly and like salesy, but it's not that. Like, just as much as you want your client to use the shampoo and conditioner that you recommend because you're like, bro, your hair color is gonna fade and it's gonna look like crap when you go and put Suave on it, right? Like, just as much as you feel that way, but you don't wanna push them, that's exactly how I feel right now. Like, I feel like I don't wanna push you guys, but I know the quality that's on there. I know how exciting, how excited I get and how excited it makes me to continue to build this community, like big time. So yeah, I get that same feeling where I'm like, I promise you, it's not like, we want it to be beneficial for you. It'll be so good for you. Anyway, but that's the whole point. I wanted to come on and just share, take up some of your, precious holiday time. I'm sure you guys are probably all slammed in the salon right now, but your precious holiday time to just brainlessly watch a haircut, feel inspired for the rest of the holiday season, because I know we can just work our lives away and not actually take time for us to be inspired, to pull out a doll head, to work on our craft, and just give back to ourselves a little bit, right? It's so funny how when we work on doll heads, like for me, when I do this, it feeds me. It's like my intention is to come on and share the love and spread the love and like feed as many people as I can, and it just ends up feeding me, So keep working hard to stay in that zone, to stay in that like mental space. There's a lot of like hardship, not just financially, but like mentally too right now. I think it's just so important that we all like support each other, help each other out, share. Okay, let's keep growing together, guys. So I'll see you over on Renegade Royals platform. This one's just, on me. I just wanted to share a fun little Shaggy lobby mashup. We like it? Yeah. Cool. Thank you, guys. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to keep styling her. She's still a